Welcome everyone. Welcome to Tech Talk Friday, and it's Friday 7 p.m. Malaysia, Singapore, Beijing, and whatever GMT +8 time zones you may be in. And today is a special day. We once again are going to talk technology. We're going to talk tech. And today we have some amazing guests with us. Not just one. We've got two guests with us today, and both of them happen to be women, right? So I'm going to introduce you to my co-host Karamjit Singh. And today we have a very special segment. Don't tell him, but we're going to make fun of him a little bit later on in the show. Keep this quiet between us, right? Okay, well, Karam, welcome to the show. I don't think you just heard what I said, but
excuse me, yeah. You don't think only Donald Trump can walk out of a media interview, okay? I can do it as well, okay?
All right, there you go, Karam and Donald.
Don't challenge and raise my heckles.
All right, Donald, Karamjit. So we have a great show today, and it's going to be jam-packed with a whole bunch of things. We have four segments actually. We have two guests. We have a Tech Talk segment later where we will talk a little bit of tech news on what's the latest, greatest tech that's happening. But we also have two guests with us, both talking slightly different things. And then we have a Test Karam segment, which is a brand new segment that we're coming up later on. So Karam's
we
just
won't have time for that. We will not have.
We always have time to have fun, right? And so today's going to be
everybody in Malaysia. Everybody wants to listen to the 8 p.m. special announcement on this emergency ruling.
Yeah. I mean, the country will close down, but Tech Talk will still go on, right? So okay, so much for our emergency, and we'll see what happens there. But Karam, who's our first guest? Can we want to introduce Vani very quickly?
So no, is Vani in the studio already? I didn't know. Is she?
Of course, Vani's always in the studio.
Wow. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, I was trying to get Vani on the show, and her full name is Vani Mahadevan. Vani is obviously an entrepreneur herself, and she's playing in the space of encouraging women to get into technology field. Yeah, because she feels and a co-founder feel that the women don't have maybe not equal opportunity, but they're underrepresented, okay, in the technology field, which is true. So Vani has made it her mission to try to correct that. So she runs a startup called Tech Sprint, which actually is an education edtech lah, okay. But we brought her on the show not to talk about Tech Sprint, but a new initiative she launched where she's hoping to help all women ease back into the workforce, but specifically into technology-based careers.
Nice.
And I thought that was interesting. So that's why we're having her on.
Sure. And we're going to introduce Vani we're going to bring her on the show. But Ram is saying that his dates are with you, Karam. So you've got a guy who spends his Friday night on dates with us. So that's a little bit.
If the Pope can say that, whatever he said, right, about same sex, why not, man? We're all kosher, halal.
Halal. Ram,
this is a very kosher and halal show.
Hannah won't be too pleased, but for those of you, Ram is also one of the Digerati 50s. His weekly date is on TikTok. So with that, let's bring Vani into the studio. Vani, welcome to the show. Yep. Always great to have you have wonderful guests with us. Vani, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Ooh, the voice I can't hear you. Can you hear, Roshan?
No. Okay, no worries. We'll get our studio manager to figure this one out. So while we wait, how to get Vani up and running through our studio manager, let's do something slightly different. Let's talk a little bit about some of the tech news very quickly.
Oh, you want to talk about tech news first?
In the tech space, as we wait for but just let's get to one or two of that. No, let's talk about eNation, right?
eNation, yeah. So no, look, eNation is actually just finished today. So this is the anchor event of Magic, and this year they went all out lah. They got the beauty, Roshan, of when you do a conference online, you can attract people from all over the world because there's no flight to come in and hotel stay and all that, and many days are wasted for a 1 hour segment. So because of that, they got some amazing speakers, and we focus on one of their topics, which was talking about I think their topic was calling reflect reset and reform, right? Understanding tomorrow to thrive today. So it's a big hairy topic. They had our Minister of Science and Technology, Khairi Jamaluddin there. They had the former French Minister of Innovation and Technology, and even the UK former Minister of Innovation and Technology. Very interesting. I actually only heard the last 40 minutes, but it's a very interesting conversation. They were talking about how you try to get SMEs on board into the digital economy. And because of the COVID situation now, according to them, all the excuses are off the table. Forget about all your excuses. You have to go digital to survive. And I have to tell you that as a Malaysian, Khairi performed superbly well. I think his Ivy League education came to the fore. He was very seamless, very spontaneous. Yeah, it's obviously wasted with many of the people in UMNO, just like the many people in the Republican Party who seem to think Trump is the best thing since Splice.
I thought you were Trump's biggest supporter. Okay,
yeah.
So E-Nation was fantastic. We're getting some great.
This topic was very interesting. So you can go to the article. But so basically, they're talking about if you want to move forward now, you want to rebuild nations in the COVID world. You require technology. You require a strong role of government also. And of course, education, you got to rejig your education, and you need empathy. Khairi says that you need empathy just because there's so much more pain now, right? The pain comes from losing a loved one to COVID and from people losing jobs. And so he says that empathy is an important facet.
I want to get to a couple of comments. I mean, Farouk said he was there. E-Nation was great. Richard question amazing. So there's a comment from Farouk. But there's also Farouk adds, I'm amazed with your energy. Who needs to listen to the 8 p.m. announcement? So you see, Karam, I think, like I said, 8 p.m. And Puba says hi, and Farouk says typo, right? Richard, what was the typo here? Richard's question was amazing. Is it okay? Anyway, we'll figure it out as we get along. So that was E-Nation. Let me see
one more wrapping thing. When they ask what do companies need to do to succeed, so this lady Pellerin from the former French minister said that you need actually a global mindset. Is very important, she said, because you can scale later, but to start off you must have the global mindset because that will attract investors to look into your company. So kind of interesting.
Okay, so I think Vani's still kind of getting stuff ready and getting her wiring all sorted out.
Really?
Our next guest, let's Karam, just in about 30 seconds or so, can you introduce Seok Mei?
So Goh Seok Mei is interesting. So I actually don't know Goh Seok Mei. When we were briefly chatting just now, was the first time I met her. I know one of the key people in the team, and I've known him for a long time. And he was updating me on this company doing, geographical information systems. Of course, now they rebrand themselves. They now call themselves something a lot more sexy. And we'll let the sexy lady Seok Mei herself explain why. But it's an interesting company because you're basically using satellite imagery and blueprints of buildings, right, to cross match what's going on in a city or in a city or in a smaller area also, right? So and it's a very high tech space to play with, and I'm happy that there's a Malaysian company involved. But I'm also not happy with Seok Mei because when the techie Roshan, who created the application, came to her and said, "Hey, Seok Mei, I've got this interesting product." And Seok Mei said that this is actually a product looking for a solution. She said, "No, we got to help it. She rejigged it to say that, look, we are able to solve a business issue." And that's why she came into the picture. So let's get her in. She's very savvy.
Seok Mei, welcome to the show, and hopefully we can hear you. Great,
yes,
you can hear me.
Hello, you can hear me. Yes, hi. Firstly, thank you. Yes. Thank you, Roshan, and thank you, Karamjit, for the introduction.
And great to have you on the show. Just prior to this show, you were explaining to us how Karam was heating your laptop up.
I know exactly.
So Karam, you're really doing a lot of things on the side. But so maybe you can tell us a bit about yourself. Just in 30 seconds to a minute. Just tell us a bit about your background.
Okay. My name is Mei. Everybody calls me Mei. I actually studied econometrics. Something that nobody knows anything about, and neither do I actually. But yes, I studied econometrics, a double major, econometrics and information systems. And I came out of college, and my dad said, there's no work that you can do with econometrics, better do IT. And that's where I started my career. So I started my career in the big multinationals, the IBM, the HPs of the world. And then I decided that I want to actually start up my own company. So I started my first company in 2001.
Oh, your own
And
company, yeah? Okay.
yes, in 2001. And then,
Doing what? Sorry, what were you doing? Company doing what?
2001, we were an Oracle distributor.
Oh, okay.
So we were an Oracle software distributor. Of course, not by myself. I started
Correct.
out with some business partners. At that time, I was really young, and so I had no money. So started with some business partners. That went well. That was a software distribution. And then we decided that software distribution, the margins are becoming very small, and we
Okay.
decided to go into services. So I was in services organizations for a few services, 2 services organizations after that. And then February 2019, decided to merge with another company that does 3D visualization.
Okay.
The new way forward. Yes.
The new way forward, 3D. But I
Yes.
think your co-founder called it something else. What's intelligence something?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
what is that term again?
The company was started up by George and Sean actually, and what we do is we
You mean
try.
Sean Baptist? Sorry, are you talking about Sean Baptist?
Yes, Sean and George. Well,
Okay.
Sean is actually a very good friends with George, so they came up with the idea for this.
Co-founder.
So
Okay.
George is the founder of the company actually.
Okay.
So they came up with the idea for this, and then what happened is decided to take photographs, many photographs, and then convert it into a 3D digital twin of a city. Then after that, George decided to develop his own platform.
Okay.
His own software platform. So this is Malaysian made actually. So decided
one guy, yeah. So when you say he decided to build his own software platform, I mean yours is a company that is going places now. I'm intrigued. How can one person, develop such a complicated platform on his own or her own?
His own. George is always the brains of the product. He's the founder and the brains of the product. So he's a little bit of like our Bill Gates, so-called.
Oh, so you mean you just spend hours and hours just coding, is it?
Yes.
Because I want to get the audience to get a sense of how can one person build a complicated product like that.
No, he started with it, obviously. Today we have developers, we have a whole team of people who are actually working on it. But Josh is still driving the product side, basically.
Okay.
The roadmap.
The reason why I asked you that was because one of the leading analytics companies, data analytics companies, the founder, when he left the MNC and started out the company, he told me that he put in 18 hours a day for 6 months, just building the platform. 18 hours a day, 6 months, and I never forgot that. And that's like insane work ethic, right? To try to build the first version of the product. So maybe you're saying George putting these kind of hours and was crazy like that.
Crazy like that. So crazy like that on the product side to build up because that's the base. And also crazy because today we are now working probably like 20-hour week.
Wow.
Only.
Hey, 20-hour week. I want to join you. The truth has come out, man. Excellent. I knew there's something about the company.
No, joking. No, but yes, we work very, very hard. We work very, very hard.
Karam, you work 20 hours, Karam.
20-hour week.
I'm wondering whether Karam works 20 hours. I thought Tech Talk is the only thing you do. Okay, never mind.
Wow. No, so 20-hour days. Wow, that's crazy.
No.
Okay, but tell about the business progress of the company once you launch. And I was intrigued the fact that you told George that look, this is you're giving this as a technical product, right? Trying to look for a solution to meet, right? And you change it around and say this is what we're going to do. And I'm disappointed with you. Then you also said that to be a global company, we got to be based out of Singapore, not Kuala Lumpur. Why? Why not Taiping?
Oh, why not Taiping? Yeah.
Anyway, May is from Taiping. That's why I brought up Taiping.
Yeah. So what happened was it started as a very engineering product.
Okay.
Not to say that it is but I am not an engineering person. I come from IT and business applications. So when we had a look at the product and we sat together, we decided that we don't want to be going into the engineering sector to look at all the surveying and all that, but decide to then bring this into the business world. So we want to actually bring this into the users that anybody can use. And it's so simple and it's so easy. It's so light. It runs even on the mobile that we can just open up for everyone to see. So you can actually look at your whole city, your whole digital city from your phone.
That is an impressive coding. That's an impressive coding achievement, man. My
Yes.
God, so light.
And then that's not the end of it. And then you can add on information. You can add on all the IoT sensors, basically. And then you have dashboards and you have, imagine your buildings with all the colors and the analytics coming up. Yeah.
So why you? I think you evaded the
Why
Singapore.
Singapore? No. I remember.
I was like, okay, you answered the first part. What about the second part?
Yes.
Why
What's
Singapore?
Okay. So when we started with this, we actually have two companies, one in Malaysia and one in. I decided actually, I started talking to George and I said, maybe we should then start an organization in Singapore to use it as a hub for us to go global. Why Singapore is for me, I think because for one, it's more politically stable. After our change in government a couple of times and hopefully no more, for a startup and for an entrepreneur to want to go global and to start up in an environment where the soil is shifting, it's very difficult. So we need to have stable ground to start. And to me, I think that ground is Singapore. So if we start with that stable ground, it is much easier for us to quickly grow. And it's proven in a way right. Because we started the organization in February 2019. By March, we got a grant from Infomediacom, Singapore agency, equivalent to our MDEC. So we got a grant to actually develop, productize our product actually. So instead of just a minimum viable product, we can now actually sell it. So, and they actually gave us a grant, although very, very little, but they still gave us a grant for us to start up that product. And that product, when I say to start up, is that product, we now have it on the cloud. So we can have cloud version, we can have, can you imagine, you can see your digital city from a cloud, basically, and it runs on any cloud, Azure, Amazon, basically.
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
So they gave us that grant, we did that. And then from that, I went to visit Smart Nation under the Prime Minister's office. And with Smart Nation, we went to Barcelona World Congress, where we were spotted by United Nations. And then in November, we spoke to United Nations.
November, okay.
2019.
19, okay.
Yes. So this year in January, we got the contract and we actually signed as a business partner to UN.
Fantastic.
So that's revenue for you lah. When you say you've got the UN as a business partner.
No, UN as a business partner is for us to implement United for Smart Sustainable Cities program. So they bring industry partners together with the support of 16 UN organizations.
16.
So with this, we can have that program that we can actually execute globally and to make cities smarter and more sustainable.
Okay.
So when we sat down, we've decided that, we don't want to just have a tech company, we want to have a tech company with a heart. And that heart has to be able to help cities and the people who live in the cities, more resilient, more sustainable, more inclusive. So that was part of the reason why we decided that, yes, we want to be partners to United Nations to implement the programs that they have, but to visualize it on our platform. So that's what we are working with them. Yeah.
But by the way, you got funding from Malaysia also, right? I think so. You should mention that. Yeah, very important.
Correct. So we've got funding from Cradle, from MTDC, MDEC. They have been very, very friendly. Actually, they've been very, very good to us. So Malaysian company is actually thriving because of that as well.
So it's amazing.
So we have also the Singapore one is where we have our international contracts and association with. So going to Austria and all that from Singapore is easier because they have a Singapore, German, Singapore, Austrian kind of business relationship. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So we're probably gonna bring in another guest for now.
Sure.
But stick around. We want to bring you back in a second. In the meantime, there's a whole bunch of comments that's coming out. I think let me just walk through. I mean, people are saying hi to you.
Oh,
There's,
hello.
there's Siti Mariam Abdullah from Kazana, I think.
Fatima.
Fatima is saying hi. There is Dato Nora from Maybank. He's saying, the passion, you both love what you do, hence the 20 hours that you work a week.
Yes.
Like some of us
Yes.
who have to work a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. Yeah.
Shows your passion. I don't know how that works, but there's Michael here, who's a coach. And I don't know, Karam, you had a pilot license. I don't know where this comes from. But for Dave, Dave didn't ask me to introduce the topic. We're talking to Seok Mei now at this point in time, and she's talking a little bit about her startup and how they're based both in Malaysia and Singapore. And we'll bring her back in a bit because we've got another guest.
And by the way, hers is a 3D visualization company, because he made important to know that also.
Yeah, it's a 3D visualization, one of the few that is trying to become global to some extent, and using multiple avenues, like including taking advantage of the Singapore government to enable
Generosity.
Both generosity, Malaysia and Singapore.
And
All right.
Malaysian taxpayer money. Malaysian taxpayer money. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be back with Seok Mei in a second. In the meantime, we introduced Vani earlier on. Karam, you want to just say 30 seconds as we bring Vani on to the stage?
Like I said, Vani is an entrepreneur who's created an education tech company, right? Offering training for specifically for women, to try to get more women into the technology sphere. And but that's the company TechSprint, and she can tell you about it, and also her latest project, what she's doing. So Vani, I'll leave the not the microphone, but the screen to you.
Well, thank you very much, both Karam and Roshan, for having me on the show. I'm very honored and humbled, actually. So TechSprint. So I want to talk to you all about Rebound. So Rebound is a career comeback program that TechSprint has just recently launched with the support of the Asia Foundation. So what is Rebound? So a lot of women take career breaks, because they want to look after their children, or their husband relocates, and then after that, they actually they sort of get stuck in a sort of point where they don't know where to go after that. And then also with this COVID pandemic, which has actually caused the pink recession, they say that the main industries affected by the recession is actually the main people who are affected by it are the women. So a lot of them have gotten retrenched. A fairly disproportionate amount of women have been retrenched, and now they're all stuck. They're wondering what to do next and all that. So we thought this is a good opportunity for us to introduce this program to help more women step into tech-related careers. While there are other sort of career comeback and support programs out there, this is probably one of the few programs that actually helps women step into tech-related careers. So when we say tech-related careers, we don't necessarily mean for them to become like coders fully. But some of them may also want to explore other areas like that are more tech and more digitally enabled. And some of them may also want to launch ventures or little projects on their own, just to generate that little bit of extra income, because times are really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And they need to do this while staying at home.
Okay.
So that's the main focus of Rebound.
I never heard this pink. This is the pink recession. So okay, not at all. So I don't know whether it's the male dominated media, minimizing the impact on women. But actually, Vani, I disagree that, and I don't like it when and I know a lot of women are listening also. When women say that, we cannot get into technology careers, it's so difficult. It's like you're psychologically making it harder for you when it's not. Because in my 2 decades of covering technology, I've never, except for your husband, he likes to hire men, I know. But except, but no male entrepreneur, no male professional manager has told me that after the interview, they say, Karam, try to get guys for me, better than women. Nobody says that, because the demand for talent is so sharp and so acute, you just will hire whoever. So, I get aggrieved by that, because you are making it worse for you and making a women feel that, is there something that I didn't know of? It's harder for me. I didn't know. Thanks for telling me, Vani, So Go ahead.
Why do you want to respond to that?
Okay, so that's the main purpose. That's the main purpose of Rebound. Because what we found, I mean, what we've generally heard about and read about is that women suffer from this thing called imposter syndrome, where they feel that imposter syndrome. So even though they're qualified, they're talented, they're able to do it,
correct.
very often they just don't rise up to the challenge. They don't take up the challenge. And when they think about careers in tech, automatically a lot of women feel intimidated by it. They say, oh my God, I'm not good at this maths. I can't do this. Because from a schooling age, there's fewer and fewer women stay in STEM subjects. And even though a lot of them graduate, they are not able to do that. So what we want to do is give them a platform to sensitize them, open up their eyes to say, hey, look, you've got these opportunities here, which have low barriers to entry. You don't need a 4-year to be a part of it. You can do a 3-month boot camp and be part of it.
Yeah, wow. and Vani, I think the other piece is role models, right? I mean, yes. Because the lesser amount of role models. I mean, Seok Mei is one good role model of a woman entrepreneur who succeeded and who is succeeding or is managing to take advantage of Singapore and Malaysia and build her business. But I mean, role models enable others to get excited. And what your point is, to move from feeling like an imposter to feeling that you have the right to be an entrepreneur, you have the right to succeed, you have a right to be in the tech space, somewhat. So I can see where your point is. But yeah, so I mean, to the other point, right? I see some comments. I mean, Dato Nora Manaf also says I agrees with you, Karam. Finally somebody agrees with you.
I thought I was going to get flamed by women power, but
but we see some comments coming in about on this. But I think to take this further, right? I mean, what else should women, especially who want to get into the tech space, be thinking about, looking, and what sort of advice would you continue to give to them to enable them to be successful in the space?
I think what a lot of them need to do is actually skill themselves. I think a lot of them tend to think that I don't have a university degree, I don't have the necessary experience in this area. But what a lot of them realize, and this is something that I have actually come to hear firsthand from. We just finished a couple of programs yesterday and today. We just finished about 32 women in the base level program, which is the Reboot. Just opens up their eyes. So one of the things that we actually heard from a lot of them is that, I was doing a sales job and then I got retrenched. I don't know what to do next. I'm applying for 200. I'm putting 200 applications a week and I'm not getting anywhere. So what we are telling them is, look, fine. You had in the old economy, you were doing sales. You were doing face-to-face sales. Mm-hmm. But the world is different now because of the COVID pandemic. So why don't you get new skill sets, learn things like digital marketing, learn things like e-commerce, learn to manipulate these things, and learn to understand these systems, so you can apply the same skill sets and knowledge, your core knowledge, your superpowers, and be relevant in today's time. So that's what we want to do.
I agree with you, but I mean, I think I think this I think many women learn better than men. When it comes to their learning agility and so on. I at least that's what I see I mean, we take a lot of time. Men especially but I think the issue is not so much upskilling themselves. It's the part you talked about, right? The important thing is, you see, for you to execute, right? You need not only the skill, you need the self-confidence, and having the skill. Like I can ride a bicycle, but because I had an accident, I don't want to. Let's say, I mean, example, and that self-confidence is what propels you to execute, right? And maybe that piece needs to have some focus in terms of how do we help all these women who have the skills or who have the agility to learn and be able to grasp new stuff, but to have the self-confidence to push themselves out there and say, let's do this and let's make a difference.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing in the baseline in the baseline program called Reboot. So, by the way, Rebound has 3 levels of program. So, at the very base level is a program called Reboot. So, Reboot is a program for them to come, sit down for 4 days, take stock of themselves, because they are in a state of squiggle right now. They're like confused. I've lost my job. I don't have income. What do I do? So, we want them to sort that out and come to a realization. Learn about themselves, look inside, learn about themselves. And then on top of that, we also give them skill sets, like making them current and relevant to the current workforce. We give them like, okay, this is how the new workforce culture is. This is a new workplace culture. You got to know your Google Docs, your cloud applications. It's no longer about the Microsoft Office, that you may have learned 10 years ago. So we want them to learn that. And then we ask them, so the 4 days is just a start. So we ask them to come up with what is known as a personal action plan. So we want them to look at it, give them the confidence. And then we also bring in speakers, women who are in the tech industry, to come and talk to them and tell them, look, these are opportunities. Nice. This is how you bridge. This is how you bring old economy skills into the new economy. So we're doing that. And then what we do is, at the end of the action plan, we give them 60 days and we pair them up with mentors. And I have been humbled. I'm having goosebumps at the number of women, senior women, who have actually come forward to volunteer their time to be mentors and guides for these women for 8 weeks, to actually go through their plan and get them on track to see that they actually make a commitment and a head start in that journey. And that could be acquiring skill sets.
Okay.
And that's where the next level of program comes in, which is where we call it Step Up. So that's where they learn things like building and designing websites and all that.
It's a bit more tangible.
A bit more tangible. They can offer as freelance services to others. And then finally, it's breakthrough. That's where our coding boot camps come in. It's like, go be a junior developer at the end of 15 weeks.
Nice. So I think Devendran says nice induction and somewhat of onboarding. I think his question on skills and passion pool currently available out there, I think you've answered that, right, to some extent. You get what he's asking.
Currently available, how do we know what skills and passion pool? I think it's about self-efficacy. I think at the end of the day, if they learn about themselves and if they learn about what makes them relevant, I think then they would find their own passion. And I think at the Reboot level, we're not expecting everybody to go into tech, but we want them to adopt tech in what they're doing, become more digitally enabled.
Of course.
And then if they want to pursue a career in that, then they go further.
Okay. So, Vani, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on the show and
good luck, man.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
No problem. It's been great. We're gonna take a quick break.
I have a talk with your husband now, because he's the only one in 2 decades who say, "Karam, I want to hire men." You didn't know that, I know.
Okay.
Preference for men.
Thank you.
Okay,
have a lovely weekend.
We're gonna have a quick break, and we're gonna come back. There's 2 more segments. We're gonna come back with Goh Seok Mei in a second.
Seok Mei, yes.
The tech talk segment, but just a quick short break, 30-second break. Here we go. All right, that's Nicole for you, and Vani, thank you so much. Before we and Vani and Seok Mei, we will bring you back in a bit. But before we go into the next segment, I have to say Vani's husband has fought back. So the empire strikes back. So Dash has said most of my staff are women. Karam,
most of my staff are women today, because obviously the wife has remolded him.
All right, so there you go. And Raghu says hi and says hi to Vani also. And there's a couple more comments. Takwai Pun says he wants to talk to Mei, so later we'll get back.
Excellent, definitely. We'll connect you with anyone who appears on our show.
Absolutely, we'll do all that. But before that, right, we have the Let's Test Karam challenge, and this is gonna be like 2 minutes only. So Karam, you have to answer.
Hey, I'm gonna walk out the show like Trump did. Okay, I will show him how it's done.
And we'll always say Karam and Trump in the same breath, right? All right. So let me give you 5 questions only today, and you have to answer them immediately, like on the spot. So Karam, this is Let's Test Karam. So question number 1, Karam, if you could,
I got to keep my eyes closed, right?
No, you can open your eyes. Read the question. If you could be one natural disaster, what would you be and why?
Wow.
Quick, Karam.
A hurricane.
Hurricane, and because you like Tottenham and Hurricane.
No, because Hurricane, because I'm full of hot air. So Hurricane
Okay,
is
there
heat.
you go. No wonder Seok Mei's computer laptop got heated up just now. Okay,
Correct.
question number 2. What was one food you hated as a child? You still hate it now? What changed? How did it
No.
change?
The one food I hated was dal, black dal, which is a staple of the Sikh, Punjabi community. I used to hate it, but actually now I love it because now I know that lentils are incredibly nutritious, right? Source of protein. So
All right,
I
there you
still love
go.
it actually. Yeah.
Black dal, hated to love it. Okay, if you could switch your profession without any consequence, what would you now be?
I always would have wanted to be a photographer for Playboy magazine.
Ooh, okay. We won't get into that. We have some viewers here. Okay, name one person you would like to switch lives with right now. Anyone?
Oh wow. I never thought of that. Anybody lah. Actually, I would like to switch roles with my wife to understand the how women go through being part of a family, a household, right? Because my kids always say she's the boss in the house, and they say she works harder than me and she's smarter than me. I'm very intrigued by that.
Wow.
So I want to be in the food. I want to be in the footsteps of. Actually, in my next life, I always say in my next life, I would like to be born a woman, 6 foot, a 6 foot woman lah. So I may be a supermodel because of my height, but a woman.
That's a nice comeback from the Playboy photographer from just now. Okay. And the last question: would you rather be a plant or an object? What would it be and why?
Oh, plant lah, because a plant you contribute, you take in carbon dioxide, you give back oxygen into the environment, right? So I'm playing my role.
Fantastic. So with that, thanks.
I don't like this segment. Next week, no more this segment, okay? Because we've got incredible, incredible guests waiting. You're wasting time with this.
We will introduce. We'll make a guest go through the pain of. Let's test the guest. But we have to test you first because I didn't ask permission from Seok Mei whether I could do this to her. But Seok Mei, I was nice today. I decided to do it on Karam. And there's someone says the truth is out there. Karam wants to be a woman.
No, in my next life, because I respect women so much, and I was telling Seok Mei that in my experience, I find that women are the better talent in Malaysia for sure. So,
all right, go ahead. We'll continue with Seok Mei, and I think what we're gonna do now is let's go and do some of our updates. And Seok Mei, I actually love to hear your reaction to what you heard from Wani just now. In terms of her input on women and what the needs were for women to really be able to move up, especially in the technology space. And you being a woman in technology, for what, almost 20 over years now, right? Since you started your entrepreneurial tech.
Yeah, she's always been a woman, Roshan, not for 20 over years now as a woman.
I try.
And so what are your thoughts? I mean, what are you thinking about from what Wani is saying?
I think what Vani is doing is actually amazing. I myself have thought of doing something like that as well. Correct. As a foundation, as part of what I wanted to do, I think we cannot generalize. So there are women who are brought up maybe differently. Like for myself, I'm brought up a little bit differently. I have a choice where I can go and study. To me, my dad is saying, it's continuous learning for life, So that has always been ingrained with me, and there's nothing that can stop you from going wherever and whatever you want to do.
Sure.
But there are also a different segment of women that is probably, you better stay at home, you do the cooking, and then that's it, and then you do nothing else. So maybe you cannot generalize, generalize. But if you ask me in terms of technology and women, I think there's no stopping actually. Everybody learns technology anyway. My mom and dad learns how to use WhatsApp and Zoom, So if anybody can learn, anybody can learn. So to me,
Okay, good. So, Roshan, let me ask you, May, this, because one of the things I found interesting, May, in your company, you said that you're going to step down as CEO after 3 years, and you're almost 2 years into your CEO role. And why did you say that? And doesn't it make the team demotivated to think that actually she's not confident of the business and she wants to step down?
No, the other way around. When we started the business, we had a discussion, and I've always wanted to start up a foundation.
Okay.
So we've wanted to have a foundation that can help people. We don't want to just have a company that make millions and billions and then, buy private jets, all that kind of stuff. So what we wanted to do was always to give back. So the first group that we want to give back is to give back to our own employees, our own partners, and then eventually to give up a foundation to the rest of the people. So I've always had that in mind. So to me, I've set to start this up in 3 years, and after 3 years to hand over to somebody, and then I will run the foundation, basically.
So that means the foundation, that means by 2022 January, you're going to be running the foundation if you follow your own timeline, right?
We started the company in February 2019.
Okay.
So 2021, 22, yes.
21 that means, yeah.
Yes.
You got only 1 year.
22.
The next year is your
22.
last year. Yeah, 22 January 2022.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
January 2022. So
you don't have much time. You got to work 24 hours a day, man. 20 hours is not enough.
Saying that, we have already looked at starting up basically a .org foundation already. So we have that plan already. There's some things going on. And for me, stepping down in 3 years is actually nothing because of the team that we have. We have very good guys who are working with us. We have very good guys who have been with us for many, many years. And this is an opportunity for them to also run it. And it's also better, instead of having the same person running it all the time, to have a different perspective and different people.
But Roshan's been running Leaderonomics for 20 years. He's not liking what you're saying, okay?
No.
You
know,
must take the next step.
Great.
Be bold.
In a faster way. I think that's kind of the dream for a lot of folks to ultimately be able to do what is meaningful and passionate to you, right? Karam, as we converse, right? I think quickly covering some of the news that's out there. Keplex makes the maiden investment in ion mobility. You want to talk about that very quickly and
very quickly,
on it also, May.
Ken. So Keplex is a subsidiary of Green Packet, and I don't know whether you know CC Puan or not. He's a bit of a crazy guy himself, visionary. So he set up Keplex, and this is supposed to be the company that makes the big bets for Green Packet, right? And this is the first investment.
They spent a lot of marketing in the last couple of months, I've noticed.
Okay. Yeah. So, but they have invested in a startup in Singapore that plans to launch e-bikes in Southeast Asia, actually. Very interesting. And they plan to build the bikes themselves here and keep the supply chain in the region. And they're targeting Indonesia first because, of course, Indonesia is a huge, bike. And they said that actually the people who use the bikes, they prefer to use clean bikes. So they're going to try to bring the price points down or lease it to them, right? So there's a plan there. They just raised their their seed round. And Keplex is part of that. So kind of interesting. We'll see where they place. And Keplex also said that besides investing in them, they hope they would use their technology to help Eon Mobility to further accelerate their growth plans. So that's one story.
Nice. A quick one. This one's on Leaderonomics. It just launched this week.
Hey, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me about it? We would have written about it.
Officially launched Series A via Funnel. Funnel's a Singapore investment house. So if you go to Funnel webpage, I guess you'll be able to check that out. So that's up and running, a very brand new $5 million launch that Series A funding launch for Leaderonomics. So that's new. Everyone who wants to be part of the company, it's an opportunity. So that's one news that's out there on the tech space. Another one is EdTech startup Utopia. You want to talk about them?
So I found this interesting because the entrepreneur is in his late 40s or early 50s, late 40s, I think. And he used to run the digital division of 2 MNCs in Malaysia. Then he left the job because he said he got burnt out from being in digital marketing for over 10 years. And both his kids are in national school. And he felt that what they're learning in school does not help them in the real world. So maybe it's too IQ based, and the EQ, the soft element, was not there. So he decided to solve the problem himself instead of looking for somewhere, right? And so his Youthtopedia is actually a edtech place, and their focus is on soft skills to complement the academic focus. And I think the entrepreneur is Manu Menon. He has raised 100,000. He has put in his own money, 100,000 ringgit, and he has raised 50,000 ringgit from friends and family and fools. And he's got the product now at the stage where it's already live. It went live last month. You got to pay for it, right? So it's a monthly subscription of 48 ringgit. And he believes that this will help kids to become a lot more balanced, right? Not just focus on the book. So all the best to Manu, right? And good luck to them. And congratulations and for having the guts to put his own money into the startup also.
Yeah, and that's I mean, and speaking a little bit in terms of what you were talking about, May, about the need to give and the need to find meaning and the need to find purpose. I mean, just a quick call out. I think, and we didn't do this for a bit, is to do a call out on this thing called the Bounce Back Summit. So I don't know whether many of you know about the Bounce Back Summit, but the Bounce Back Summit is a special gathering where the top global leaders across the world, people like Jim Gray, who's a very famous sports commentator, or Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. These are all global speakers. They're all going to be coming to speak on a weekly basis for about 12 to 14 weeks. So it's going to be a long-term leadership development program. But the idea behind it is that every week for about 12 to 14 weeks, you will get a whole bunch of development. But after you pay for it, every single part of the proceeds, right, will be donated to about 20 to 30 NGOs across Southeast Asia.
Wow,
right?
that many.
Yeah, so it's quite an amazing program where, again, this is a quick overview. You buy an all access pass for 120, so you can get access to Nicole, which is a learning experience platform for 1 year. You get access for weekly coaching by a guy called Justin Cohen and famous South African coach, and Jean Marie from Europe. So they'll coach weekly. There's Ask Me Anything sessions, including from the right. I mean, there was a bunch of folks like Crucial Conversations, I think Deb Fine and Paul Larson, a couple of famous guys that are going to do weekly where you can ask questions. So all this, and the 100% of all the proceeds are going to be going to charity. So I'm going to show a very quick little video, and then let's talk a little bit about meaning. And I want to get some reaction from Seok Mei in regards to what advice she would give.
Never
to us.
before in history have we felt more interconnected. Everyone's actions have the power to impact the health and well-being of everyone else's actions. We truly are all in this together. And together, we can bounce back better, stronger, smarter. Given this incredibly difficult time, when fundraising is down and the
Oops. All right, I think I got accidentally cut that off. But we don't have too much time. But essentially, Bounce Back is a great opportunity to be part of. So if you are keen, just go down to Bounce Back. If I'm not mistaken, go to bouncebacksummit.org, bouncebacksummit.org, and you will be able to check it out. It's I think for Malaysians, it's HRDF claimable, so it's 100% claimable.
Oh, nice.
So you can get your employees up and running. On a 14-week development program, but all the money goes to charity, because a lot of charities, I mean, we find a lot of NGOs are suffering in this time. Funding is down for a lot of them. So this is a great way to give back and to have meaning. So that's Bounce Back Summit. May I want to ask you, if you were to give advice to our viewers, I mean, you're an entrepreneur. I mean, we talked about a number of issues here. We talked about, how we can break that ceiling for women and enable women to jump into the tech space and be empowered to be entrepreneurs. But what sort of advice would you give, general advice to our viewers, especially those who are, trying to figure out how to succeed in this complex time where there's so much of volatility, and this is VUCA, right? No, it's more than that. I mean, it's confusion also, right? That is surrounding us, right? What sort of advice would you give us in terms of helping us to navigate these challenging times?
It's become more difficult, especially with the COVID, and of course double up for us now again. Most of the countries are going into lockdown and all that. I think what is very important is to have mental health as well. Most of us are just thinking about how to get online skills and how to go out there and do it. But mental health is actually very, very important. And I would really like to also get into mentorship as well. I'm more than happy to mentor anybody. I'm open today. Anybody out there who would want to talk to me at any time, please reach out.
She's got 4 hours a day to spare because she only works for 20 hours.
I only work 20 hours a week. Exactly. And so I have a lot of time.
There's a guy, Puntawai, who wants to connect with you and bounce ideas. So there you go. Your first client, your first mentee is on his way. Get ready. May is going to come after you.
So I'm mentoring students right now. We are working with quite a number of universities. So I'm mentoring the NUS students from NUS, NTU. There's another group that's coming up from US as well, Georgetown University. So, but these are all students who are going to graduate or who have just graduated and are
Okay.
having difficulties.
Nice.
Having difficulties. What do you mean by having difficulties?
Getting jobs basically.
Oh, getting
because,
jobs.
Because right now, even the mid-tier guys are getting retrenched and all that. So, pay scales are getting lower and these guys are getting their jobs. So the fresh grads that are coming out have got difficulty getting jobs basically. No one's hiring.
Hey, no. Send them to CC Pond Green Packet.
Yes.
Yeah, CC Pond told me they plan to hire 100 people by December 31st. 100 people.
Yeah.
But you got to
That's
have
yes.
tech skills. You got to have tech skills.
Flex is another company that is hiring a lot of Flex. I think there was 1,000 or something they're looking for. So there are some jobs, but it's going to be tough, Karam.
It's going to be tough, yes.
It is. I mean, I'm just looking at, I'm in a group of entrepreneurs, and a lot of layoffs are happening. Especially with the uncertainty with this whole potential emergency and other things that could create a lot of cascading negative effects.
Unintended consequences.
Yeah, I think that's very profound. A couple more comments. We have Dave. I think is still intrigued by your Playboy comment. I think people are gonna have that in their head for the rest of the week.
That's bad. Yeah, but come on, there's so many nuggets in the show. You only want to remember that. Shame on you,
Dato' Nora, thank you so much for your congratulations to us. The work is when you go live on a Series A, it's not a congratulations. It's hard work is to come.
Yeah,
how comes the hard work is getting the round filled up with investors and stuff. So it's premature, but we'll get there, I'm sure. But I think some good comments coming out from Arun. Arun is like he looks like a young boy on the photo here, but he's saying, hey Karam, why don't you use Instagram? As a sharing platform for greater engagement. Why is TikTok not on Instagram? So there you go. Maybe we'll have a tech talk on Instagram soon, and we'll have. I don't know whether me and Karam can get away with trying to help younger generation hear two old Indian men ramble about. But we'll see how that goes. I got a quick question for you, May, from Dato' Nora, who asked, May, what advice would you give to students? Right?
What advice are you giving to the students now?
What advice would you give to those students that are struggling, right? I mean, the ones that you're talking about, right?
First advice is continuous learning. I myself are still learning. During the first COVID session, when everybody was having difficulty going down, working from home and all that, what I did was to take up a course in EDX. EDX is a course platform where you can go in. There's so many free courses. I took up a course with Harvard School. I took up a course on SDG Academy on sustainability and all that. So basically, it's just a lot of continuous learning. So continuous learning is one. And the other one is, I think we have to be brave. You have to be bold. You have to go out there and put yourself out there. To say that, I want to do this, can I do this? Or can I do it? Can I help? Can I do this? Basically you have to have that drive to do it. So for me, I think in terms of students, it's basically just that. It's not just with a degree, and then that's it. It's not sufficient anymore. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. I mean, we got to wrap up the show now. And, just now prior to the show, May told me that she's very funny. She's not... she's
very funny.
And Karam keeps telling me he's funny, but anyway, I've yet to see it. But anyway,
I'm very serious.
Yeah. Very serious. Shitting up my notebook.
May you complain this show is too serious, Come on, we have to I want to end. I'm not going to ask you for advice. I'm not going to ask you for your nugget of wisdom and end with the serious. I want you to end by telling us something funny and giving us something to enlighten this weekend, and so that as we start this weekend, hopefully not in an emergency.
Not in an emergency state.
But whatever may be, help lighten our load, May, by telling us something funny. And Karam, I'm going to put you on the spot. You got to tell us something funny too.
The emergency declaration itself is a joke, okay? Pathetic joke. That's going to hurt the B40, okay? That's going to hurt the B40, the people who have daily wages. So that's total BS to me. So that's the joke.
I would suggest, Roshan, instead of calling us entrepreneurs and all that, let's create one that's called Funtrepreneur.
Funtrepreneur, wow.
Yes, Funtrepreneur. Combine the fun and the work, yes.
Oh, okay. Funtrepreneurs, okay. So do they have to have a profit target, Funtrepreneurs? And shareholder?
Yes, of course. Profit, shareholder value, yes. Giving back. Giving back is very important. Giving back is very important, yes. And have fun while you do all that.
No, I think it's absolutely important to have fun and have to laugh at ourselves, especially in times like this, right? Because
And
I
laugh
mean,
at Karanjit as well, is it?
yeah, I mean, on a more serious note, I was just having a conversation with Rotary and a few others. I mean, the state of mental health. I mean, the
Yes.
mental health issues that is
Right.
coming up is scary, right?
Yes.
And I think some in the numbers. I mean, some of the calls. I mean, what Befrienders and some of these associations, they're doing some great work in trying to help
Yes.
so many people. Right? There's so many people. Having a tough time in this
Yes.
in this very, very tough environment. So with that, Dato Nora says, love the chemistry here. Thanks again. Love that. And of course, we have to end with Dave, right? Because Dave has always wonderful stuff to say. Arun, if BP and Gen X like us,
I think it's generation
Vs, okay,
baby boomers.
Baby
Baby
boomers.
boomers.
All right, there you go. All right, baby boomers and Gen X like us can learn about tech. Imagine what good it would do to Gen Z like you if you stayed on. Someone here could fund your dream. Wow, there you go.
Wow.
What better way to end the show? So with that, thank you very much. Have a very pleasant weekend. It's going to be an interesting weekend, I'm sure, for all of us, with all the talk that's swirling around on all the different things that's happening. You heard it here first. We may have an emergency, but we'll confirm at 8 o'clock. So with that, have a pleasant weekend, everyone. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Very important for all of us to keep staying safe and continue to abide by all the SOPs and let's all try our best to help each other and to continue to partner with Ajay to make a difference in this world. Thanks everyone. Have a great day, and remember, next Friday we Tech Talk. May, thank you so much for being a guest. Much appreciated to
Fly
have you.
Fly high, May. Fly high.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
And it's a wrap for everyone. Tech Talk Friday. Thank you, everyone. See you next week, Friday, 7 p.m. It's Tech Talk Friday. Goodbye. Have a great weekend.